Yo, 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 it's your boy Joe.
This your boy Greg. We the co-pilot from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
Yeah, man. And today, man, we got a special show for y'all today, man. Great energy, great everything, man. How you feeling, Greg, today?
Man, I ain't complaining, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm out on the road, man. I'm out here in Pennsylvania. I was in Ohio. I was out there. I was down the street from Cincinnati, man. I wanted to go to the game, but I was a little too far. I was off my route, so I ain't complicate things. So I just sat, you know what I'm saying, watched it on the TV or whatnot. But now I'm in Pennsylvania now.
That's what's up,
But
man.
everything good though.
That's what's up, man. Hope you stay safe out there on them roads, my boy.
Man, I'm trying, man. God got me.
That's what's up, man. And we gonna get right into the show, man. So we gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with our first topic for the day, and we're gonna talk about this. I gotta pull it up here. Did it save? Yep, right here. This right here, man. This Canelo and this
Huh?
Crawford fight, man. I
Oh,
thought this was, we're gonna start with that. So, I'm gonna give my thoughts on it first, man. Like I
do
say,
your
man, my
thing.
reactions to the fight. To what? This
I
fight
say,
right
do
here
your
to me,
thing.
man, was a real action-packed fight. Probably one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. Like last fight, I told you, man, it was probably like since the Fury, uh, Darren Wilder fight was when we had like a real good fight.
Right,
And this fight lived up to the billing, man. It lived up to everything that we wanted it to be.
right,
Um, and I mean, you just seen two guys that's great goats in their own right go out there and battle out from start to finish. Wasn't a bunch of running. Everybody was doing their thing, and it was one of those fights that you know you're gonna look back, 5, 10 years from now and say, yeah, that fight right there was, yeah, that was one of the best fights I ever seen, man. Because both of those guys had a lot of respect for each other, and that's what I liked about this fight, man. Even though it was, they got to sell the fight, it still was a mutual respect. And Terence Crawford just did his thing, awesome. And he showed everybody that he is the best. He's the GOAT. And I
right.
salute my hat to him, man.
Oh yeah, all day, all day. Mm, no, man, I feel like it lived up to the expectations. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of fights, man, that we may get, and it's like the fight gets sold, but it don't live up to the hype. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of
Right.
disappointment. I think if this was a pay-per-view fight, you know what I'm saying, good thing we going away from the pay-per-view days. But if this was a pay-per-view fight, man, I think it would have everybody their money's worth. But the thing I seen, man, you get what I'm saying, man. I think it was a very, very competitive fight. Even in the rounds that you look at the other fighter may have won, it was still good. Every round was good. You get what I'm saying? Um, even in the win, I don't think it was like that much of a landslide in the rounds. But at the same time, when you go to the scorecard, it was unanimous. It was a convincing winner. You get what I'm saying? I think everybody can agree that Crawford won that fight. Um, just breaking down my take on the fight, man. One of the things I seen, and I mentioned this in the video. I think that Crawford defense was better than a lot of his last fights. Like when you look at the Madrimov fight, Crawford got hit a lot. He took a lot from Madrimov straight right. Even though we seen it in this fight, but it wasn't a lot. You get what I'm saying? Because the last fight led you to believe that, that was something that he could not avoid. And I think that, Crawford technique was better. It's like he was prepared. Like, you can tell that he took his training seriously. And one of the things that we knew was going to happen was his footwork. That was one of the things that separated Crawford from a lot of other fighters and whatnot. That we knew that this was going to be to his advantage going into this fight. His footwork, and one of the things I noticed that he always was able to keep his lead foot on the outside. You know, and this is one of the things you look for when you have a southpaw and a dude that and an orthodox fighter. You fight for position on the outside, and this is one of the things that kept Canelo from cutting the ring off because he was able to pivot and swing out. You get what I'm saying, when he didn't feel comfortable against the ropes. And like I say, man, he was able to establish the jab, and even he was able to fight inside and out. So wherever the fight went to, he was able to fight both ways, inside and outside. Another thing I noticed too, man, and it's the problem when you have a lot of dudes go up against power punchers. You know, we know that Canelo is a power puncher, but we know that he's not limited to only his power because he does a lot of things great. Like I mentioned, his defense, his technique, and so on and so on. But the problem with a lot of fighters when they go against a lot of fighters that's known for their power, they tend to go for the feint. And a lot of times when you go for the feint, you set yourself up, because it shows that, yeah, this dude is scared of my power. That was the problem when we watched the fight against Tank Davis and not Roach, but the guy he fought before Roach. I'm trying to think of his name.
You talking about was it Ryan Garcia?
No, it wasn't right. He never. No, it wasn't Ryan Garcia. It was right before the Roach fight. It'll come to me though, but
Yeah.
but his opponent, the thing was he ended up knocking him out. I think like maybe the 8th round, but at the
You
same
talking
time,
about Frank Martin?
Frank Martin, he kept going for the feint. You know what I'm saying? And it also showed in the press when they had the press conference when they was going back and forth. And I knew it was a matter of time because sometimes you can have it's good to have respect for your opponent's power, but it's a bad thing to have too much respect where you showing fear. And I didn't see none in this fight where we seen Crawford fall for the feint. You get what I'm saying? He respected his power, but now time did he fall for the feint. You get what I'm saying? And so when you don't fall for those things, you can tend to stay on your game and fight your fight. But like I say, man, he stayed in control the whole fight, man, and he shocked the world. So just moving forward, it's like, man, and I think that, everybody's convinced. Well, you have some naysayers. When I was watching Show the Bitch, you had what I'm saying? But people that's honest with themselves, man, true boxing fan, it's like, man, you got to put him on Mount Rushmore. You get what I'm saying? Some may have, he's in the GOAT conversation. You still got Sugar Ray, you still have Ali, you still have, other dudes, that before our time. But I think, man, have to put him in the GOAT conversation.
I think he is already one of the goats of this. I'd say this is the Terence Crawford era, and
Oh,
I mean,
especially.
this is his era. I mean, and right now it's like, you know, he has the right now to kind of do what he want to do
Right,
as a boxer. If he want to retire or if he want to continue to fight. But when I look at this
right,
fight, man, I just think that all the technical stuff that you were saying about what Crawford was doing, I just think that he was just a little bit of step ahead of Alvarez. I mean, and don't get me
right.
wrong, Alvarez is very technical too, but it just seemed like Crawford just was a little bit more better. And he showed, I would say, and it's not to take away nothing from Crawford, but you can kind of see all those fights that Alvarez had kind of show his age a little bit because he could not change his style of fighting versus what was Crawford was doing, was able to he would go in there, make the combinations, hit him, two-piece him, get out, get in, get out of harm's way. And if you watch that fight, Alvarez pretty much stayed the same way the whole fight. And then you heard Crawford corner like, hey, he gonna do that wide shit. And Crawford stayed disciplined throughout the fight. It's times we thought, with him toying him and playing and tightening him, that he might, give in to Alvarez, but Crawford stayed disciplined. And like you said, and everything that you said, he controlled the fight from start to finish. And like I said, personally, I know they gave him a couple rounds, but in my personal opinion, I felt like Crawford won every round.
I'm not gonna say he won every round. It was some rounds that Canelo did win, and I looked at to the impact that his punches had or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? Even though it never hurt Terence Crawford, but you can see the impact. Like, ooh, he caught him with one. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I do give Crawford. I do give Canelo a few rounds. I did say, like I say, and even in some of the rounds that Crawford won, it's like, okay, he won, but it went by much. But then he had some rounds that was very convincing. You get what I'm saying? But you know, like I say, man, it was a good fight, man. It was worth the wait. You know, and you
Definitely
know, and
worth
I
the wait.
called it. I said, as I say, man, I believe it's gonna be a good fight. A lot of people said, you know, whether you was Team Crawford or Team Canelo, people say, oh, he's gonna knock him out. And I knew it wasn't gonna be a knockout. And I said that. I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I say, man, I think it's gonna go down to the decision. Now, although I say, man, I think it's gonna be by decision, and Canelo's gonna win by decision because you know when you're fighting the champ, I didn't think that Crawford was gonna be able to convince the judge. But to my surprise, like man, it was he fought. Like I say, man, he fought a whole lot better than I say a lot of people thought he was gonna fight. You know,
Yeah, he did, man. And it goes back to like, what we talked about over the phone, man, that uh Crawford was gonna be ready for this fight, man. You know what I'm saying? And like you got a lot of people out there that are trying to discredit Canelo now that he's lost. And for me as a boxing fan, just as a sports fan, I respect his greatness, man. Like
right,
you can't win them all. And if you
right,
look at every boxer, and Max Kellerman said this in his commentary that all the greats lost, from Muhammad Ali,
correct,
George Foreman, all these guys took L's.
right.
So this doesn't take away nothing from Crawford, and I mean from what Alvarez done throughout his career. Whether
Certainly
he
not.
retires, I think he should retire at this point. I mean, he's not the best at it in this sport right now, but it's still some fights out there that I still see Crawford, you know what I'm saying, that he can do. But I think, at this point in his career, Crawford, I mean, Canelo don't got nothing else to prove, man.
Nah, he don't. But I think Canelo still like, I want to say Canelo 36, 33, 36. You know what I'm saying? He's still young, especially for a boxer. Like, Canelo still have some fights in him. You know what I'm
But
saying?
who else? But the question is, what fights are out there? What
What
Benavidez
fights out
maybe?
here? I don't think he still, maybe he go that route. You get what I'm saying? Like, Canelo still is box office. You get what I'm saying? He's still like any other fighter he fight, he's still going to be an A-side fighter. You get what
Basically,
I'm saying?
he still has the Mayweather effect in a sense. What you're trying to
Oh, of
say?
course. You know what I'm saying? He's still going to be an A-side fighter. You got to, especially when it comes to they're going to support their fighters. That's one of the things I love about the Mexican community. You know what I'm saying? When their fighters are out there, they're going to support them hands down. They're going to ride and die with them. They lose, they still behind them. You get what I'm saying? And so if you even like we look at like
I guess Greg having some technical difficulties right now. His sitting was pretty weak.
boxing fan, you get what I'm saying? You're a real boxing fan, no matter whether you're
Yeah, he's offline right now. I'm gonna wait for him to get back online. There you go.
it don't matter like what culture you come from. If you're a real boxing fan, you're going to support that because you're supporting greatness. You get what I'm saying? And you look at the type of person that Manny Pacquiao is, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't help but support. And this is why people like Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, you know what I'm saying, dudes that are class act, they continue to have their fan base because you're going to support them. It's like, dog, you know what I'm saying? Even though they could be, and it's not saying Canelo, but like Pacquiao, we know that he's a shell of himself. But at the same time, you still gonna have respect for his legacy. And when he's up, when he's out, you're still gonna go out there and watch it. That's why, you look at the Tyson and Jake Paul, you know, even though
Right.
now like you have more people that have more take more liking to Mike Tyson now than they did back when he was in his prime, but you respect his legacy. Same with Roy. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
some dudes can't fall, some dudes can't lose and still be a main attraction. It'd be over with for them. You get what I'm saying? And I think, like I say, man, when we break this fight down, you know what I'm saying? Moving forward, this kind of make things look good for Earl Spence, because it's reported that he have a fight coming up. I don't know if it's official or not, but they say he supposed to go fight one of the Charlo brothers. But it's like, man, and like I said in my last video, just because he took that L, people forget how good Errol Spence is. Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, was a knockout artist, you know what I'm saying, when he was out there fighting. He done fought some competition and won.
Well, I think the lineup with Dow season, what they're doing with a lot of the boxing matches. I mean, that's what we want to see. We want to see some of these some of the fighters that we love fight, and I salute to them putting on a good event. Like I said, man, one of the best boxing matches of the year, and I think it's probably going to be fight of the year, win fight of the year, and that's why I put that in the caption. I think it win fight of the year, man. I mean, you got to give it fight of the year.
I'm
The
gonna
way
say
they,
this.
the way it went down, man. It was a great fight.
When it come to, I went argue, like I say, I got my opinion, but at the same time, if they put it there, I wouldn't argue against it because I understand it. Because if you look at the
You got the
prestige of it,
magnitude of it.
you look at the build up, the anticipation, the wait, and it lived up to his expectations, it may get fight of the year. But for me, I'm still going to say this: the best fight that I seen this year was David Morrell and David Benavidez. To me, I think that was a better fight. You get what I'm saying? My opinion. But at the same time, if we're going to put this fight as fight of the year, I understand it. You won't hear no arguments from me from it. You get what I'm saying? Because like I say, I think it lived up to his expectation.
That's what's up. So, any final thoughts on the fight, man? Before we segue to our next topic.
Nah, let's get it.
All right, so we're gonna go to NFL first. So we're gonna talk about our beloved Jaguars, man. In week 2, total meltdown, man. Week 2. I mean, when you look at this Jazz, lost the same old Jazz, man. That's what it to me, like the same old Jazz. This is what we do.
This is what we
And
do.
it's just like, for me, what really pisses me off about this particular week, Matt Jones had a good ass game against the 49ers in his first start. And then you look at the way Trevor Lawrence played.
Him and Luke Farrell.
Yeah. They
Both of
both,
them
yeah,
at
I
the
forgot he played tight end for the 49ers. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's just, man, we got to get better, man, in the red zone. Trevor Lawrence is still turning the ball over in the red zone. And I solely put this game on Trevor Lawrence. Now, granted, we had a bad call. Travis Hunter got that pass interference. Now I got people in my chat saying I'm a dummy because that was pass interference. Hey,
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
whatever. It was a bad call, y'all, in my opinion.
yeah.
I just think that Jaguars got to do better, man. Liam Cohen, he gotta get this offense, um, and get these guys in sync. We had too many freaking illegal shifts and false starts and things like that, and we got to get those things cleaned up because we got a big game coming up this week against the Texans, and we're
Right,
gonna need this game because they're gonna come in hungry, and we should come in just as hungry because we shouldn't have lost that game on Sunday. What's your
right,
thoughts,
right.
Greg?
I'm gonna say this, man, and I did a video, man. I was talking about Trevor Lawrence, and I went kind of hard. I will say that. You get what I'm saying? When I break down everything, you get what I'm saying, and a lot of it stemmed from last season because I seen some of the same things from last season going into this season right here. So I'm gonna say I might have went a little too, but at the same time, man, I'm gonna go as far as saying that I have seen some improvement. But at the same, but and I gotta call it, and I'm saying that because it is. We had a lot of drops. You get what I'm saying? Like in the end zone. And it's like, man, my biggest thing too, man, when I look at this, like, man, OBJ, we can't have this same kind of game. You know, multiple drops, you know what I'm saying? Now, one, you didn't want to go across the middle, you made a business decision. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, you have to make up for it. When you have a play like that and you fall short, you have to make up for it. And my thing is this: he did not make up for it when he had a chance. You get what I'm saying? I
Right.
seen lazy play on his behalf, and I'm just gonna call it like it is. I'm going to put most of I got to look at Trevor Lawrence, but I also got to look at Brian Thomas Jr. and say, man, listen, he got to tighten up. I got to look at some of these other receivers as well. But the main reason why I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence is this: because I'm seeing some of the same problems from last year that I'm seeing this year as well.
And I feel the exact same way as you, Greg, because some of these things that he's doing is just like, bro, you in year 5, bro. Like certain stuff, like you gotta know, like, and I mean, what really pissed me off was that red zone interception. Like you gotta know the
Right.
situation. Third down, if I can't make the throw, I take a sack. I still fight another day, get 3 points on the board. Like that situational awareness with Trevor, dog. And then a lot of people making making waves about. I don't want to know one your thoughts about it. When Trevor Lawrence kind of waved off Leon Cohen when they was on the sideline. I mean, he was, and you know what I'm saying. He told him to put the ball in the chest, and Trevor did his thing. I'm not making a big deal of it. It's a raw emotions, and you playing it in the game, but I think that's a cause of concern, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you continue to not put balls there, I think at some point Leon Cohen gonna have to. He may have to sit you down for a minute, let you look at the field, see what you're doing wrong, man. Maybe bring in Mullins or some shit. Not saying that's going to happen right now, but if this shit continue to start and we in middle of the season out of reach, I see them putting in another quarterback.
I'm gonna say this. This has happened before. You get what I'm saying? And with coaches and got doggone quarterbacks, and they have got past it or whatnot. I'm gonna say this, and not to take Trevor Lawrence's side. I think it was like due to a lot of frustration. Like, dang, we done had a lot of drops all day. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We done had a lot of drops, and now you know what I'm saying. When this play happened, it's like, yeah, it's too hot, but at the same time, it's like, we've been having drops all day. Every ball I ain't gonna throw gonna be perfect or whatnot. But yeah, it was too high. You get what I'm saying? And I'm saying this because I'm trying to see both sides of the coin. Trying not to be too hard on Trevor. You get what I'm saying? Because it's still early. And the reason why I'm trying, because I have seen improvement for as we're getting the ball a lot quicker this season. You know what I'm saying? With the offensive line, we're getting the ball a lot quicker. So, and I think that is one of the good signs for this team. And the defense has been playing a little better. Um, and I'm going to say this too, man. I think that Liam Cohen is showing that he can be a coach in the National Football League. From what I'm seeing, you know, I think that like I say, man, this coaching staff is pretty much looking pretty solid from right now. You know what I'm saying? All things considered. But at the same time, it's like we still got to do the eye test. Playing against Houston, then we got KC. But like I say, man, I think that a lot of stuff that we like with the penalties, with the illegal shift, a lot of those was on the receivers. You get what I'm saying? And I think and Fred Taylor broke it down. He said, man, a lot of it had to do with like the type of motion that we was running. That a lot of times it wasn't the offensive line, but the receivers was out of place. And that's why I say, dang, it was a lot of problems with the skill positions this week. And I think that that's something that that's going to get cleaned up with this team or whatnot. Um, and I think that, like, man, I say, man, looking in week 3, we should see these guys make up for a lot of the mishaps that occurred on Sunday.
Yeah, man. I mean, it got to get better, bro. Like, I mean, I like the fact that the ball is moving. We're moving the ball up and down the field. I love to see that because the offense don't seem stagnant. But again, man, when you're turning the ball over in the red zone, the penalties, then you let a team back in, dog, who playing with a backup quarterback, bro. It's just that's a frustrating loss, man, for the fan base because it's like, bro, this is the same quarterback that's beat it 2 years ago on the Monday night game, but we
Right.
let him, and it was in the same type of weight. He came in off the bench,
Good.
led him to a victory. Like, bro, we should have been able to hop on that, and the defense gave you 3 turnovers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like we gotta play better. Like we have to play better, bro, because we got, like you said, we got the Chiefs coming up, another desperate team, and you got the Texans this Sunday, two teams that's trying to get in that win column. We don't know if the Chiefs gonna win on Sunday. They go
Yeah.
0-3, they gonna come in Jacksonville playing like they season depend on. So we
Right.
gotta be able to take advantage of these opportunities, man. We could have had an opportunity to be 2-0 and put some cushion behind us between the Texans Now we don't have that because we 1-1, and right now I think the Colts is the lead division leaders right now, but we'll
Right.
talk about them later on down the show.
Man, my biggest thing is this, man. And it's something I know that I seen it week one. I said, okay, maybe because it's too early. Then I looked in week two, and I say, I'm still seeing the same thing or whatnot. And I gotta point it out, man. I think that and some of the commentators, bro, like Richard Sherman, he talked about it in one of the commentators from CBS Sports. And I agree with it because I was thinking the same thing or whatnot. But it's like this. I have to ask this question, man. Is we using Travis Hunter the right way? My biggest thing was this, man. I felt that coming out, Travis Hunter should play mostly. If we're gonna play him two ways, he should play mostly at cornerback and have him playing spot duty at receiver. You get what I'm saying? And because I think that that's is an area of concern at cornerback. You get what I'm saying? Um, and Richard Sherman brought up a valid point, right? Because he's somebody that's familiar with both sides of the ball because he have played cornerback and receiver. All obviously not in the NFL, but he said this. He say that, man, playing cornerback. He say it's certain positions on the field that you're like certain players they do not leave the field. He says quarterback, offensive lineman, your Mike linebacker, and cornerback. He say those positions you never leave off the field because you have to be on the field. You get what I'm saying? It's like, and he was explaining the cornerback position is because you have to be there the whole time guarding the receiver. You get what I'm saying? Because if you put that number 2 cornerback in, that number 3 cornerback, they're going to look for that guy and they're going to pick on him. You get what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
also you have to keep your rhythm. He says it's different when you're playing the receiver position. You could take time off receiving position because you could possibly have another number 1 on the field. You get what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying, a solid tight end. Or it could be a run play. So, but he say, man, but when you're playing the cornerback position, it's not the same case. You have to be on the field to have your rhythm, you know what I'm saying, and to be able to defend the receiver. And he say that's why he feel that, and I felt the same way. Travis Hunter should play mostly at cornerback and come in and play spot duty at receiver. This was the same thing Prime did. You get what I'm saying? And plus you won't, because he's playing like, I want to say he's playing maybe like 40 snaps on offense and a few on defense. You know what I'm saying? You won't, your star player, the dude that you trade up to be able to at least master one of these positions. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If not both. But you want him to at least be able to master one of these positions while he's on the field. You get what I'm saying? You didn't trade up, you know what I'm saying, to draft a generation talent for him to be mediocre on both sides of the field. You get what I'm saying? You want him to be at least at one field. You do want him to be elite at both, but at the same time, if he's elite at one side of the field, it was worth trading up for. But if you have him just being mediocre on both sides of the field, it's a wasted pick.
I agree, man. I think that's what the concern is for me right now is, what he gonna be good at. Right now, of all the receivers, I think they say Travis Hunter has the fewest like reception yards with the amount of catches he got. Um, so a lot of people like, oh, he ain't making no impact. I disagree. I feel like he can make a bigger impact if he does what everybody say. He focus on one side of the ball. I think we all agree that he can be on the defensive side and make a real big impact on this defense and solidify the secondary a little bit more. But again, man, he wants to play wide receiver. It seems like that's the position that he really wants to play. And I don't
Right.
think you right now at this point we gotta just trust the process, man. Still 2 games into the season, and like in his press conference, talking in his press conference, he said he feel good. So maybe throughout the
Yeah.
season they'll start trusting him more to be on the field a lot more, playing both sides where he don't come off the field. But he has to get better in the run game, man. And stuff like that, tackling and stuff. Like he did he made some plays on defense Sunday, but is there some stuff like that on the defensive side that he gonna have to prove? And it seems like he's doing more work on the offensive side
Right.
because that's his primary position. But defensively, you got to be able to make plays too when you out there, man. And
Right.
I just think that the kid, man, it's still early. He still got some growing to do. I think he's gonna be fine, but at some point, he's gonna have to start dominating in one of these positions.
I would say this now, far as the talent wise, see, my issue is not with Travis Hunter because I see that the talent is showing, the upside is showing. You get what I'm saying? He's displaying this. You get what I'm saying? But my issue is this: how we are using him. You get what I'm saying? Are we maximizing his potential? You get what I'm saying?
I
So
think I think I
that's
think a little bit of that too, Greg. And I don't mean to cut you off. Is the fact that he did get injured. He was kind of banged up during the training camp. And I think right now what the coaching staff is doing, they're trying to ease him into this, man. You know what I'm saying? The NFL season's a long season, man. You
right.
get what I'm saying? So I think that right now they gotta, they testing the waters. But I think throughout the season, I think once Travis, he's letting the coaching staff, the medical staff let them know that he can take a bigger load. I think we'll start seeing the way that we need to use him. He'll be used. Just my
Right.
opinion. But go ahead with your thought, Greg.
Oh nah, that's pretty much, like I say, man, my thing was like really how we've been using him and whatnot. I thought that we would see more of him on defense. And I guess it's because I want to see him more on defense than offense. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, you got cornerbacks like Jerry Jones and Tyson Campbell. And these dudes showing that they can play defense. You get what I'm saying? In spite of how many yards Jamar Chase had, they showing that they can play the position and be starters at the position. So we have solidified starters at that position. Are they elite? You know what I'm saying? Could Travis Hunter be better than them? Be determined. But they have shown that they are solid players. Not to mention with Jordan Lewis. You get what I'm saying? In the in the nickel position.
Nickel.
You know what I'm saying? In the slot. So
Right.
like I say, man, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that's just my thing. I guess because I want to see him at cornerback more. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like he's better at corner, but I guess we'll see. We see, like you just said, still a lot of the season left.
I agree, man. So let's segue into some more NFL games, man. We're gonna talk about we'll stick with this the AFC South right now, man. Let's talk about the Colts, man. They got a 2-0 start. Man, Daniel Jones looking good, bro. It's just crazy how you can go from how you look at one team, how they using you, and you go to another team. You got an offensive minded coach, and I thought Dable was a good offensive minded coach, but Shane Steichen, his offense, man, he got Daniel Jones looking like goddamn like an elite quarterback.
Hey, remember I said this, right? Coming into the season, I say that may not be a bad spot for Daniel Jones. I say, man, and I'm one of those dudes that was always critical of Daniel Jones. You get what I'm saying? I pointed out his good as well as his bad, but I was more critical of Daniel Jones. But
Hmm.
I pointed this out before the season. I say this may be the best position for Daniel Jones because of this. I say he got an elite running back in the backfield. You know what I'm saying, and Jonathan Taylor, and the receiving corps. Alex Pierce, one of the probably one of the most underrated playmakers at the receiving position. Michael Pittman, Adonai Mitchell. You get what I'm saying? So and I was like, man, I was saying this. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Jones have success with this team. You know what I'm saying? And I mentioned that before the season, and they 2-0. So it ain't gonna be a walk in the park playing the Colts this year, man.
You're really not, man. And I think with that offense and what they doing with Daniel Jones, he's giving them production that Anthony Richardson couldn't get him, man. And I don't know, man. If this guy continue to play well, man, I don't think that they might be moving on from Anthony Richardson. I do want to see the kid, get another opportunity, whether
Yeah, I
it's with
think
the
he will.
Colts or somebody else. But it seems like Daniel Jones is seizing his opportunity right now. They made him a starter, and it looked like this could be a situation where this could be some way he can revive his career.
Well, with Anthony Richardson, man, coming into the league, we know that he was still raw. You get what I'm saying? Like, um, I don't think nobody thought that he was going to should have been a day one starter. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that nobody thought that he was just going to come in the NFL and just set it on fire. But we did see the talent. We seen the upside. Seen what he showed at Florida. You get what I'm saying? Um, it's like, man, but watching his first game against us, we like, well, damn, man, this kid can throw the ball because he got a strong arm. And we know that, a lot of GMs, man, they see a kid with a strong arm, they tend to marvel over that. Accuracy can improve. We know that he can scramble in the pocket. He a tough kid or whatnot. So like I say, and I say that to say this, man. We know that it ain't. I don't think it's the end of the ropes for him, but I mean, Daniel Jones, he has the experience. You get what I'm saying? So.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff you have to go through, man, being a quarterback in the National Football League. We talking about the hardest position when it comes to professional sports, So I think that he'll have another opportunity, just, man, like you say, man, it just fall with just.
Yep. He's just having a little delay. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I finished it.
We finished? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think also too, man, when you look at I want to finish this off with Anthony Richardson, is that I think the reason why the coach drafted him, man, is because when you have all that talent like that, sometimes it's like, man, if I don't draft him and somebody else draft him and he ball out, then everybody gonna be looking at me like, man, the coach could have drafted Anthony Richardson, and they passed on him. But it's just like, it's one of those. It's like the draft is it's 50-50. Some of these guys pan out, some of them don't. And I think that with the way Daniel Jones is playing right now, man, it's gonna be hard for what's the name to get back into that starting lineup, man. But Colts are doing their thing right now, man. Let's see if they can hold it up for the whole season.
And speaking of the Colts, man, shout out to my partner RJ, man. You get what I'm saying? Free RJ. But RJ, man, he from the city, man. He from Jacksonville. He's a Colts fan. And me and him used to go back and forth, man, all the time. He a Colts fan. And he was one of those people that used to always talk good about Daniel Jones. I'm like, man, he trash, man. You get what I'm saying? And when Daniel Jones went to the Colts, I was about to say, you got your wish. You feel what I'm saying? And
you try to trash him, huh?
Yeah, like you got your wish. We gonna see how it play out. So yeah, shout out to my partner RJ, man.
That's what's up, man.
And he was highly upset when they drafted Anthony Richardson. He was pissed. He was pissed about that. But yeah, shout out to my partner RJ, man.
That's what's up, man. So let's talk about another game, man. I don't know if you got to watch Sunday night game. Atlanta versus Minnesota, man. That game right there was crazy because it was the Bijan Robinson show, man. This dude was 50% of their production of their offense, dog. I'm talking about it was a one-man show. And I think right now the way he playing, if he can keep this type of production up, he's gonna be in discussion for the MVP running this year, man. They 1-1 right now. I'm rooting for Raheem Morris to to get it done over there, at least make the playoffs. I mean, at least as a wild card to keep his job, because I think he's on the short lease. But the defense looked good under Raheem Morris. I will say that the defense definitely looked improved this year. But Minnesota, JJ McCarthy had his he went back to looking like a rookie. Technically it's his rookie season this year.
Right.
But let's see what I'm saying they can do, bounce back. 2 1-1 teams, everything
and
like
he's
that.
injured. McCarthy, I think he's injured now.
Okay.
He's back on injured. Yeah, he's back injured, man. So it's like, it's crazy and whatnot. Unfortunate situation, man, coming from a season-ending injury last year where you didn't play none of the regular season, and now, your second game in your second season, you end up getting injured again. But I would say this, man, when you look at the Falcons, right, man, and their quarterback, why I can't think his name right now. That's crazy. But Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix, man, pretty much went to the best situation that a quarterback can go into. You get what I'm saying? First, you got weapons at receiver with Drake London. I think Donnell Mooney's still over there.
That move's still over
Kyle,
there, yup.
and I
You
think
got Ray Ray
Kyle Pitts.
McLeod too.
Kyle Pitts is one of those dudes that I feel that he pretty much can be one of the best receivers in the league when you look at talent. You know, um, and also, man, you got in the backfield, you got Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, which we feel is one of the best running backs in the league. And looking at them as a tandem, you don't have to work as much. You can the only thing you have to do is just manage the game. And you just talked about with Raheem Mostert making this defense better. So I think that he pretty much in one of the best positions as a second it's his second year, but his first year as a starter, week one starter. And like I say, man, he's not required to win a lot of the games. Just manage the game. And I
Right.
think that's one of he's in a good position. You get what I'm
I
saying too?
feel
He's in a position where he's set up to succeed
that's what's up.
versus some of the other quarterbacks that got drafted, in the same draft class as him or in other
I
quarterbacks
feel
that got drafted in the first round.
I feel you, man. So let's talk about another game. Uh the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, man. I don't know if you watched a lot of that game. That game right there was crazy. I mean Dallas, boy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to say they. Maybe I'm being premature, but they missing Michael Parsons, man. Him not being
Of
on that
course.
defense, it looked bad. They got the win. And if you look at the way Russell Wilson looked week one, and then you look at this week, it's like a night and day difference, bruh. And
Right.
I mean, even though he threw that costly interception, I think Giants fans probably like, man, it's time to put Jackson Dart up. You know, Dallas, man, that defense, man. That's why I think that's a cause of concern. I like the fact that CD Lamb, he stepped up this week. He made the plays when he needed to. So he redeemed himself.
I don't him George
Um,
Pickens.
yeah, him, man, yeah, they redeemed themselves. And Dak, man, I want to say this, Dak is looking good too. He's looking like, you know what I'm saying, Dak gonna be Dak. Dak gonna make some throws. You're gonna be like, oh man, what the hell? But I think overall, when you're looking at the first 2 weeks of the season, man, Dak has looked very improved, and he just, he looked like, I won't say he's a top 5 quarterback, but I would say he definitely looked like he may be like a top 8, top 10 type quarterback right now the way he's playing.
This is my biggest thing with Dak, right? Like I said, I always thought that Prescott was above just being good. I think he's above just being a good quarterback. He's above average. He's a great quarterback. And my thing is this with Dak, right? And I think this is one of the things that separates when you look at quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield and Jalen Hurts or whatnot. Like you can make an argument that they're better passing than these guys or whatnot, or just as good or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or some of these other quarterbacks that's dual threats. But the thing is that, and even Lamar Jackson. But the thing is this with those guys that separates them, that what has been separating them from Dak Prescott when you look at in terms of wins and losses, is that they understand when it's time to run, when it's time to call your own number and make a play. And I think this is one of the things that Dak Prescott forget as a dual threat. You got to remember when he was at Mississippi State, one of the players he reminded me of was Tim Tebow.
I about to say
You
that,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
When you
That's
and
where
you
he
put
very game off of Tim Tebow. And
right.
so when you look at it's like now you get in the NFL and you solidify yourself as a passer, you forget that you got legs and that you can still run.
Hey, let me
And this
ask you
is
this
one of the
though.
things that gets me about him. You get what I'm saying? And this
Right.
is one of the things that Jalen Hurts understand that Dak Prescott don't. When it's time to scramble and make a play.
Let me ask you this though, Greg. You make a good point, but to his defense though, man, that injury though he had, dog. You
Right.
think that in the back of his mind when he want to run? Because I think that might be what it is. Like, bro, like I ain't trying to get hurt no more, bro. You feel me?
I would say this. Even prior to that injury, it was the same thing. You
You
get what
think
I'm
so?
saying? Like Dak Prescott, NFL and college is night and day. Even I say Josh Allen. Josh Allen understand when it's time to run. You get what I'm saying? That is one of the, that's my biggest thing with Dak Prescott. It's not with the turnovers, and I think this is this would minimize the turnovers. And Dak Prescott is very good with taking care of the football. He have turnovers, but I think that he's good with taking care of the football. He can manage the game, and he can come out and be a gunslinger at times. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And we look at now his receiving core is solidified. But I think that is one of the things that makes a difference. And this is what at times this is what would take Dak Prescott game to another notch. Knowing when it's time to call your own number. And I think a lot of times he get too comfortable. One of the things they praised Dak Prescott in his first year was his pocket presence. You get what I'm saying? They compared his pocket presence to Tom Brady because how cool he was in the pocket. And this is one of the things that a lot of rookie quarterbacks have problems with, because sometimes you fidget at times and whatnot. It gets scared back there in the pocket. But his calmness was that good. And I think that with his offensive line, sometimes that got too comfortable, and he'll just sit back there instead of just saying, man, you know what? I need to run. I need to call my own number and make a play. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes, man, it comes to that.
Yeah, man. Man, this in, the only one in the offense right now that's clicking. But we'll see, man. How the season. You know what I'm saying? How this Dallas Cowboy team finish up, man. Will this Michael Parsons' departure really hurt this team defensively? We got to see, man. But last week it did not look good, man.
Yeah. And
So
like I
let's
said,
talk about go ahead. Go ahead.
oh yeah, damn, what I was saying, yeah, the thing is, like I say, man, it's understandable. It was a good trade, for us, like for Michael Parsons, but I think that he's definitely missed because sometimes you don't hit on those first round picks. You got to think,
Yep.
man. Sometimes you have first round picks. You got, and it's like, is it worth it when you're talking about in terms of a generational talent versus a solid player? You get what I'm saying? Like, you got
Right.
somebody that's disruptive, that makes a difference. When you look at Aaron Donald, these players make other players on their team that much better. They have somebody that's disruptive. When you
Right.
look at, for example, let's look at the Jaguars, for example. You look at let's look at all two defensive ends, right? Those are very solid players. You know what I'm saying? When we look at Walker and
Josh Allen.
Josh Hines Allen, very good players, very good pass rushers. But at the same time, I think that we can agree that having a pass rusher like a Michael Parsons or a Myles Garrett or a JJ Watt, their presence is more disruptive than having those two at the end. You get what I'm saying? And so and these are dudes that you consider as generational talents. So to trade them in hopes of just getting solid players, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're taking a gamble. I
Right.
understand it, but you're taking a gamble. You get what I'm saying?
You get what you're saying? Like, it's one of those things. You take that
Right.
gamble, thinking you're gonna get something
Right.
better. It's always that possibility that it could be a bust. Hopefully, the
Right.
Dallas Cowboys hit on these picks, man.
Especially when you have a team that's built to win now. You know what I'm saying? When you make a move in the offseason with George Pickens, but just to let your defense go down the drain. You get what I'm saying? You already let
Right.
Jordan Lewis go, and we see what he's
Right.
doing in Jacksonville. And to
Right.
let Michael Parsons go, we see what it's doing now. You have a team that's built to win now. You know what I'm saying? But at the same
Right.
time, when you take away from your defense, like we know, like the saying go, Offense win games, but defense wins championships.
That's always gonna be true. True and true.
Right.
That ain't gonna never change. Never change.
Correct.
I mean, so I don't know if you want to talk about this Steelers Seahawks game, or you want to hop into the Chiefs 0-2 start and teams with I don't know how you want to do it.
Go to the Chiefs.
Okay, so let's the Chiefs, man. 0-2 start, bro. I don't think nobody expected the Chiefs to start 0-2. And what they say, basically, statistics say if you start 0-2, there's a big possibility you might not make the playoffs. So with
Right.
that being said, do you think the Chiefs will make the playoffs this year? And if they do, tell me why.
I think the Chiefs can, because you got to think that you're going to get Rasheed Rice back. You get what I'm saying? You're going to get some of your other playmakers back or whatnot. And I think that when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and a coach like Andy Reid, you're trying to figure these things out. You got one of the best defensive coordinators in Steve Spagnuolo. So these things are going to get figured out. So I think that, man, I mean, I understand the concern, but I think that if it's any team that can bounce back from an 0-2 deficit, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So I think they have the talent to do it on both sides of the ball. They're missing players. Not saying that they can't win in spite of that, but we have to look at it. Look at the team they lost to. They lost to two good teams. They lost to the Chargers, who we think that they are a good team. We know they're a good team. They lost to the defending Super Bowl champs and the Philadelphia Eagles. You get what I'm saying? And so, like I say, man, it just so happened, like I say, the teams that they played, they was tough teams. So I think that if it's any team that bounced back, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they can bounce back too, but it's gonna be a hard task because this division has gotten better. And one thing I feel like that with the Chiefs for the last couple of years, they played in a weak AFC West. It wasn't no quarterbacks over there. Now you got some good coaches in the AFC. You got Pete Carroll, Super Bowl winning quarterback. You got Jim Harbaugh, guy who's appeared in the Super Bowl. And I just think now when you look at Sean Payton, another guy, I think this division has gotten better. And I think now that
Correct.
with the Chiefs, they're gonna have to fight in these games now. It's not just gonna be like, oh, we can just win the West. Like, nah, you might not win the West because the San Diego Chargers might win the West this year. The way they playing, their
Right.
defense looked improved. You seen what they did on Monday night against with the Raiders, making Geno throw 3 interceptions. That secondary was locked tight. I mean, they had it, they was suffocating, and so. I just think they're gonna get beat up now. Like I said, it's gonna be a tough task. I think they're gonna have to at some point get on a little run because maybe they get on that run next week. I don't know, but they got some hard games. They got to go on the road to Jacksonville, Monday night
Right.
game, short week. They got some. So it's gonna be a battle. Okay, it's easily this Chiefs team can start 0-4.
Right.
Or you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
So like I said, it's gonna be
Right.
a tough battle. I'm not gonna never not rule out an Andy Reid team because I know what he's done. But the way they starting off 1-2, it don't look good. A lot of frustration on the sideline. You got Chris
Right.
Jones talking trash about points, or I mean about yards, or you need to throw over 100 yards. Like, bro, but you
Right.
lost. Like, you can't talk. I don't give a damn if I'm negative 12 yards. If I won the game, I won the game.
Who you
So
telling?
I don't know about this Chiefs team, man. But any final thoughts on NFL? You want to talk about anything? Any discussions on NFL?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this.
What's up?
And I posted this question, right? You know, we looking at the injury with you know, like and I posed this question. Do you think, you know what I'm saying, Joe Burrow is part to blame for the lack of protection that he got in Cincinnati, as
In
far
my
as with his
opinion,
offensive
man,
line? And
my opinion is, man, this is an organizational failure, man. Because when I'm looking at Joe Burrow right now, bro, you know who I compare him to? Andrew Luck. here's my thing. The reason why I feel Andrew Luck and I think Andrew Luck retired because his O line was trash and they wasn't protecting him. He was always banged up. He's having to do too much to carry this team, and he's overexerting himself, and he's getting injured. And you gotta protect your franchise. I don't give a damn. You gotta get some guys in there to protect Joe Burrow. Now there are some reports out there that saying that they might be in play for Kirk Cousins, but I mean, I don't blame Kirk Cousins. I mean, I don't blame Joe Burrow for these injuries. I solely blame the organization. You got to get offensive line help. The guys that you're bringing in are not enough. You're bringing a lot of old vets. Like, I mean, these guys were, a lot of the guys they brought in, I feel like are past their prime. And you're getting these guys for the cheap. And I'm like, you got to get some quality offensive linemen in there to protect your franchise. Like, you have to do that. Because if you don't, I can see this guy walking away from the game early, man. He's been
I'm gonna
hurt
say
like
this.
damn near every season.
I'm gonna say this right now. The reason why I partially blame, I gotta spread some of the blame on Joe Burrow is this. Coming from a season-ending injury in your rookie season, right? You come the next year. Who's available? Jamar Chase. Not now. I understand you getting Jamar Chase. He's you know what I'm saying. He's a rare talent, but you requested Jamar Chase over having protection on your O line. You know what I'm saying? And even you have to look at this right here too. You know, paying all these players, as far as like with T. Higgins and some of these other guys, you have an organization that is going to listen to you. You get what I'm saying? Your voice means a lot. It showed in your second year when you requested to have the same receiver that when you requested to have Jamar Chase on your team. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to go to your organization and say, hey man, bring me this guy. Bring me this guy. You get what I'm saying? If you was vocal about having Jamar Chase, you have to be vocal about the players that you have to protect you around your O-line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So coming off a season-ending injury, and let's not forget, it's not like they was depleted at the receiving position. You had players like Tyler Boyd, you get what I'm saying, on your team at the receiving position. That was having 1,000 yards. You get what I'm saying? And like I say, I think T. Higgins was already there, if I'm not mistaken. So having these players already on your team, you had a solid receiving core before Jamar Chase got there. But you still requested to have Jamar Chase on your team instead of the O-line, which is understandable. But at the same time, too, now the organization, they could have worked something out where it's like, okay, let us trade one of these guys as well. So I look at not only ownership, I look at Joe Burrow as well, because this is what you requested to have on your team.
You make a great point there, man. That they might have spent the running and far as keeping guys, but you gotta keep a guy like. And I get what you saying, but Jamar Chase is. I mean, he one of them. He him. You
Right?
feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you gotta keep him. But I see your angle, like, bro, you gotta get protection. Like, we can't afford quality old linemen if we're paying Jamar Chase all this bread. So I get it, man.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's a tricky situation. It's just like, bro, I just know if I'm an owner or a GM and I got a guy like Joe Burrow under center, bro, I'm doing whatever I can to get that O line right. And then you forget too, they had to pay Ferguson as well. You know what I'm saying? They had to get him right. I mean Trey Henderson. I'm sorry,
Trey
Trey
Henderson.
Henderson. They had to pay him too. So that's more money that's being ate up from the cap. But you
But this,
gotta protect them, bro. I mean,
oh,
because you're not gonna get far in the AFC West without Joe Burrow, bro. I mean, you're playing in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, bro. You gotta have him on the field, bro. And he's gonna be gone for 3 months of the season. That's damn near
right,
all the season, really most of the regular season. Can this
yeah,
team hang on till he
right.
get back?
Just think about all the teams that was in that draft, right? That could have drafted on Jamar Chase, but they chose to draft for offensive lineman. You get what
Mm,
I'm saying? They could have picked him up,
right.
and you know, he made them one of the best receiving corps in the league.
Right. So I'm waiting for him for a minute for him to catch up. You know, it's a little delay. He's driving. Actually, you know what I'm saying? He's an actual truck driver. So we doing this while he's on the road. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just
Tom
bear with
Brady
him.
did not could have easily, yeah. Tom Brady
No, you
could have
good?
easily been okay. Tom Brady could have easily been the highest paid quarterback when he was in the NFL. But no, you know, Tom Brady, hey man, I'm gonna take a pay cut and I'm gonna make sure these guys that's up here protecting me, that's making sure that I continue to be TB12. I'm gonna make sure that they're taken care of as well. You get what I'm saying? They didn't always have the most
No.
flashy receiving core in the league. His best receiving core wasn't until he was at Tampa Bay. You get what I'm saying? Or you can look at
Randy Moss season.
after Randy Moss season, you know what I'm saying? But he was already 3 Super Bowl rings in the league at this time with 4 appearances. So,
Right.
man, it's like when it boiled down to, and I understand it, Jamar Chase is an exceptional talent, but you have to be able to protect your quarterback.
Hey, you make a good point there, Greg, bro. I can't disagree on it, bro. So final thoughts, bro.
Man, we good.
All right, so we're gonna say it into our one of our last topics of the night is college football. Unfortunately, Florida State didn't play this week. They was on a bye, so we're not gonna talk about that. But let's get right into the game that I want to talk about, man. We gotta talk about what's going on down there in Gainesville, dog.
See,
Hey, and I don't know if you heard,
some of
bro.
my Gator
I
fans been kind of quiet, man. Some of them
Well,
Gators been
they've been
quiet.
hurt.
I heard everybody
They've
before
been
the
in
season
hibernation,
started,
boy.
man. Right.
And I want to say this because I want to talk my shit for a minute. Because you know they was talking mad shit about us Florida State fan for the season. They was, oh, how many games y'all gonna win and whoop
Oh
and
yeah.
that. And y'all already got a losing record. Ain't even been a month in the
And they
season.
and they got Miami this week.
And they got Miami this week. So there's
Mm-mm-mm.
reports out there from certain content creators that are saying that people on the team don't like DJ Lagway. That
I've been
with
hearing
all the
that.
endorsement deals he's getting and all the attention, he's getting special treatment. And I say that to say is that you think that's the reason why he had such a horrible performance, 5 interceptions against LSU?
Man, listen, man. You know, you know, I really can't pinpoint it, man. You know, sometimes players you know, it take time. I'm gonna say, I'm not going, you know, I don't want to jump the gun and say he's not who they thought he was. Sometimes with players, it take time. We saying the same thing with Arch Manning. You know what I'm saying? So if we think about it, it's not when we look at the quarterbacks, right, who we've been raving about prior to the coming into the season, a lot of them has been playing below expectations. We look at Arch Manning, we
That's a
look at
fact.
Cade Klumnik, um,
Yup.
we looking at DJ
Nessler.
Ladway, and I would say probably, I mean, yes, Gus Nussmeier, he's been playing probably subpar, you know, a little bit. He just been playing a little, you know, all things considered, their record and everything. But they have been playing and even Lenoir Sellers,
Yup.
they have been playing below expectation. Now, granted, it's only week 3, but we didn't see, you know, how they come in and light it up and whatnot. You know, with Manny, with Arch, he played against a team that we felt that was a tune-up game. What it was, UTEP.
You tell. Yeah.
And you know, they was fans were screaming to bench him. So I say, you know, like I say, it's still to be determined with DJ Ladway. You get what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm a Florida State fan because I can care less. You get what I'm saying? I can care less. But I would say this: they're not all.
Hey, we gonna
They
rub it in.
now if he come to Florida State, hey man, we'll welcome arms. You get what I'm saying? But don't be the other DJ. Do not be the other DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Cause
very.
we took a chance with DJ Uyongale and it didn't pan out. You know what I'm saying? probably the worst decision that that Mike Norvell made.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I think that when you look at this situation or whatnot, because they also calling for the head coach as well, Billy
Napier.
Napier. And we know that if Billy Napier leave, they feel that DJ Latway is going to leave also. So that's a decision to make. It's like, do you go through the growing pains with DJ Latway and Billy Napier and rough it out, or do you part ways or whatnot? You know what I'm saying? So that's a decision. That's a decision for them. Me, I don't care. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I'm guarded and gold all
we ain't
day.
got them problems this year.
Yeah, we ain't got no
We ain't
problems. You
got
know
them
what I'm
problems this
saying?
year, dog.
I can care
We
less.
ain't got them
Whatever you
problems this year,
do,
dog.
that's on y'all. You get what I'm saying?
We
We
support y'all
FSU over
whatever
here, baby.
whatever y'all want to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let y'all deal with that. Let y'all deal with that
Yeah, man.
foolishness.
But be honest with you though, bro. Before we get off of Florida though, in this game, this LSU game, bro, I don't blame this loss on Napier, dog. He had them ready to play. I thought, dog, they outgained LSU.
Yeah,
They outgained them, and dog, I don't think what LSU only scored one touchdown
right.
on the offensive side of the ball.
LSU is the most talented team, though. They're more
They were
talented.
more
Yeah.
talented, but Florida was ready to play this game, bro.
They
That's why
was. They was. They
they
came
was
out
ready to
playing.
play, bro.
They came
And
out
that's why
playing.
I say they can't put this loss
You
on Napier, dog. I
you
don't
got to
think
look
this was
at
Napier's
DJ.
loss, dog.
You
This
got
was
to look
all
at
that
DJ.
way, bro.
Of course, of course. You know.
You know. But you saw that little bar that your boy Brian Kelly did in the press conference going off on the people.
Oh yeah. Man, sometimes it's like sometimes we have to understand, like, just because a person have these type of jobs or whatnot, and I understand the frustration, but we have to understand, just because some of these people have these jobs, they're only doing their job. You know, certain
Right.
questions going to get asked that we're not going to agree with. Certain takes going to be put out there that we don't agree with. You know, but at the same time, we have to understand that, some people are only doing their job. You know what I'm saying? And that just come with it, man. So you have to be a professional. I understand the frustrations. Like, sometimes you look like, what are you looking at? What are you doing with this job? Some people, they just have this job or whatnot, and this is what they have to do to get to the next step. So
I get you.
this is why we go at it against certain people that may not even understand what they're doing, but they talk because they have a voice. And it's like, sometimes people get on here, they comments like, man, what are you talking about? You're not making any sense. But at the end of the day, I welcome it. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about another game that we was talking about. And then we're gonna stick on it. Go to the ACC. This Clemson Georgia Tech game, man. Wow, man. I think we was just talking about Cade Klubnik.
Right.
It didn't look good on Saturday. Uh, but I want to really talk about and highlight this Georgia Tech team. If you look over like the last 3 years, they've been building something over there down in Atlanta.
Right.
And Brett Key got these guys playing very confident. They play physical. They play like a hard nosed style of football. They got a gimmicky little offense. Sort of, we got a gimmicky offense right now too in Florida State. It's a college style offense, but that goddamn Hayes King, bro, he tough as nails, bro.
Yeah.
He's a great leader. The defense, they play sound good. They got a little zone defense they play. They all disciplined, sound, fundamentally sound, and they beat a better Clemson team, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
soundly beat them. I mean, and they was out coached. That was the concerning part about this Clemson team, that you let your coaching staff get out coached by a Georgia Tech team, and it wasn't even close, bro.
Right.
And I think Georgia Tech gonna be a team we gotta watch out for in the ACC this year. What's your
Of
thoughts,
course.
Greg?
I definitely think you got to think, man, to beat Clemson. And like you say, this was a Clemson team that we've been raving about all season. We've been raving about Clemson before the season started. Cade Klubnik, a Heisman hopeful. The defense is there. The offensive line is solid. You have weapons at receiver. You get what I'm saying? So, and for Georgia Tech to come in and win like that, man, it's like, so now all eyes on Georgia Tech, and make you look at, this is a better Georgia Tech team that we have seen. You know what I'm saying? So they are a team to watch out for. You get what I'm saying? I would say, if you look at the ACC is much better than last year. You have Miami, Georgia Tech, and I'm still going to put Clemson in there. You have Florida State, and then you also got some of these other teams you can't sleep on in the ACC. Not saying, and don't take this the
SMU.
wrong way. I'm not saying that we're on the level as SEC, the Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? But the ACC is a better conference than last season.
I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the bottom dwelling teams are starting to play a lot better. We got Belichick over there. He doing his thing. I think they got 2 wins of the season. They ain't really played nobody the wins they got, but
They won and one because I think they was
they
off
played
the second
Charlotte
week.
and then they beat Charlotte. They
Okay,
just played this weekend. They 2-1.
they 2-1. Okay,
They 2-1. Then you got SMU still over here. You know what I'm saying? So I think you know what I'm saying. The ACC is playing a lot better this year, and I can see a scenario where we might get 3 teams in if we, you know what I'm saying. If everything shake itself out right, we might get 3 teams in.
right.
You know. Let's talk about another game, dog. I don't know if you watched this game, that Notre Dame Texas A&M game. That game
I
with
glanced at
you glanced at it.
part of it, but I didn't, get it. I glanced at part of it.
All right, then.
But
Well, we ain't gonna talk about it. Let's talk about the Georgia Tennessee game then. You
yeah,
watched that game?
I watched that game now.
So
Um,
that game came down to special teams, bro. Tennessee
correct.
had this game won, bro. They should have walked. They should have gave Georgia their first L and telling them that they now, you know what I'm saying, taking over the SEC, Tennessee. Man, if you Tennessee fan, bro, I know you were so disappointed. Y'all did everything right. Y'all
Right.
even got the ball in the location that the kicker wanted it. And he
Right.
still missed the motherfucking field goal, dog. And then you lose in overtime to lay that. I mean,
Right.
that's a heart-wrenching loss for Tennessee, bro. That's just man, it was bad, bro. What's your thoughts, Greg?
Right. They got some good over there. Even though they're still on the side with Georgia.
Gonna give it some time to catch up. Yeah, he having some issues with his stuff right now, so he gonna log back in. We're just talking about this Georgia Tennessee team, but why are we waiting? He already back in.
Okay, yeah. When I look at my assessment on Tennessee, man, due to the fact that they're in the SEC, they don't have to play for the SEC championship to make it to the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? So that's on the plus side. But we know that when you look at them as a program, man, they got something good over there. They're playing better. They're well coached. And also, man, they've been doing good in the recruiting as well. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you lose your starting quarterback from last season because he wanted more money in a NIL thing going on, and you pretty much pick up where you left off. Who that quarterback? Is it Aguilar?
Aguilar, yep.
So you pretty much and actually, man, you kind of looking better than last season. You get what I'm saying? So this Tennessee team and is a team to watch out for, man. In the SEC and in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, man. Tennessee, they still got their thing, and they doing what they got to do. But you mentioned something though that got about Tennessee. Now said, wait, just talk about that a little bit, then we'll start talking about the Miami game. But their quarterback got that Nico Alvieva, whatever his fucking name, the old quarterback for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Dog, he went over to UCLA and he just stinking up the joint, dog. And they got blowed out by New Mexico State, got the black coach fired, Deshaun Foster. And now
Deshaun Foster, yeah, he was running back for them, yeah.
Yeah. So got him fired. Now there's reports there saying that they finna hire Nico Dad to be the head coach over at UCLA. I just think it's fucked up. But I think Tennessee dodged the bullet because the offense looked way better under this guy Aguilar than it did under Nico last year.
Right. Hey,
But
I definitely agree.
But speaking of that, let's talk about Miami, man, and they offense. They was clicking on all cylinders on Saturday, man. I think we all thought that they was gonna lose against South Florida. I was betting, I was hoping early on watching that game. I was like, man, South Florida was keeping it close. But Miami just had too much talent, man, and they end up pulling away and it just blowed the doors off South Florida, man. This Miami team looked good, man. I think early on, right now, they're showing like they're the best team in the ACC, and I'm just saying that being a Florida State fan, they look like the best team. But I still don't trust old Mario, boy. I think he's still gonna have a stinker of one of these games, late down the season. What you think, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this, like, I'm not going to say that I thought UCF was going to beat them, but I was like, man, it's going to be a close game because UCF looked like a good football team. And we love Cinderella stories and whatnot. And for us as Florida State fans, what better Cinderella story of seeing UCF upset um a Miami football team after upsetting Florida? You get what I'm saying? That would have made our week. You
Oh, that
get
would
what
have
I'm
been
saying?
that would have
So,
been so
but
beautiful,
it didn't
dog.
happen. It is what it is. Yeah. So, but like I say, man, they're a good football team, and now they don't notice. You get what I'm saying? See, Miami seen that they was a good football team. They didn't sleep on them, and I guarantee if Florida was to play UCF again, Florida would probably beat them. But now that they don't notice, a lot of these teams looking at UCF. Not saying they're not a good football team, but a lot of teams they're not going to take them lightly anymore.
Looking at the rest of UCF schedule, though, the US South Florida schedule, I think they're gonna win out, man. I think they're gonna win out. They don't they the bulk of their schedule was the first couple games. You had Miami, Boise State, Florida. Those like and those all out of conference games for them. So it's like now you go into their conference play, and I think they're probably gonna be the favorite to win their little conference because I mean they probably the best team in that conference. And I think if anybody that's going to get into the playoffs this year of the group of five conferences, it's going to probably be South Florida based on their resume of beating two ranked teams when they were ranked, Boise State and you know what I'm saying, Florida. But hopefully Florida can win some games, have finish with a winning record to boost that, and hopefully Boise State can win out in they look in Mountain West to make them. But I look at right now, just looking at the landscape of college football. If any group of five teams is going to get in this year, it's probably going to be South Florida.
Oh, hey, you see the comments Clint put on there? He
Let
say,
me see.
damn Gators quiet as hell. Yeah, they definitely is. They definitely is. We don't hear a peek out of them. He got another. He say, Dabo can't win without a generation of talent at quarterback. Um, I mean, that's
I
what it's
see.
looking like, man. That's what most of his success came from with having a quarterback. It's like outside of that, we haven't been seeing that. You get what I'm saying? Think about with Taj Boyd. Now, I will say I still think Dabo is a good head coach. But at the same time, like you just said, like it's showing. Seen it with Taj Boyd. He wasn't able to get past us those years. Um, we see it with DJ Uyunglele. He wasn't
Yep.
able to win with him. So
You make a
I mean,
good point though.
it might be some truth to that.
There
I
might be
mean,
some truth because the only time they beaten us was with Deshaun Watson, who was an elite quarterback, generational. Trevor Lawrence, another generational guy. They haven't done it.
right.
And I think another thing that hurt Dabo though, now we talking about Clemson, his refusal to use the transfer portal. Now he's using the transfer portal now because he's seeing how everybody's using the transfer portal. But prior to that, he wasn't using transfer. He vividly said people in the transfer portal wasn't good enough to play for Clemson, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Now you want to go back into the transfer portal using it. I think honestly though, uh, Dabo is probably gonna be on his way out soon, man. I really do think that. I give him another maybe 2, 3 more years coaching at Clemson, and if he see that these guys like Clemson ain't dominating the ACC no more, he gonna step down. And if I'm a betting man, if Caleb DeBoer struggle in Alabama, continues to struggle, and Dabo step down, Dabo gonna be the first person they want to go get.
Right, definitely is.
Straight up. know he's an ex Alabama graduate and shit. So
I,
you know
I
what I'm
don't think
saying?
I don't think I don't think Clemson let Dabo go. I think they gonna ride it out. They gonna figure it out or whatnot. Um, like you say, only thing he got to do is dominate the ACC, or compete in the ACC. And I think
Right.
that Clemson will be looking at, if we let go a coach like we have out there to choose from, you know.
That's for sure.
So I think that they probably would move forward and have a conversation with him, move forward differently. But as far as getting rid of him, this guy won you 2 national championships, and probably what I think I would say 3, 4 appearances or whatnot. You get what I'm saying?
That's what's
So
up, bro. So you got any more thoughts on college football, man?
nah,
So let's segue into our last final section of the show tonight, our departures and arrivals, man. I know you probably I got a couple of departures and I got a couple of arrivals, man. So I'm gonna start with my arrivals, man. And the first arrival that I want to talk about is Vanderbilt, bro. I think Vanderbilt for real this year, dog. In the SEC, they doing their thing, bro. They got that quarterback in Paville, transfer guy. They doing their thing, bro. Now,
right,
the only thing about this Vanderbilt team is they don't play nobody for the next 2 weeks. They got Utah State and somebody else. We won't know what this team look like until they play Alabama. And if they can knock off Alabama, dog, they for real, dog. I mean, last year they had a successful season, but when I look at the way Vanderbilt play, they give me so much reminder of this Georgia, how Georgia Tech play. And so I think you got to look out for those guys because um they might be something special this year in the SEC. Another team that I want to talk about in the SEC that look good is Texas A&M. Now, they shouldn't have won that game against Notre Dame, in my opinion. They shouldn't have won that game, bro. You know what I'm saying? I thought that, you know, that Notre Dame kind of kicked themselves in the foot, missing the botching the extra point, but A&M look good, man. Mike Elko, I don't know about that defense. Usually he's a defensive guy. I thought his defense would be play a lot better against Notre Dame, but offensively, man, they look good. And I think that's another team you got to watch out for in the SEC this year too. Is A&M. I think they might be another sleeper team, and I think he might be able to do something that Jimbo ain't did over in the SEC. Mike Elko. Those are my two arrivals for this week, and also my boy Daniel Jones, man. I'm gonna give him my arrival too, doing this thing over there in those. Greg, what's your arrivals for this week, Greg? Give him a minute. He's having some more issues with his stuff, so I'm gonna go right into my departures, man. My departures for this week is UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster, dog. He got fired. Unfortunate situation, man. But I think him hitching his wagons to Nico, this guy that was a transfer from Tennessee. He asked for more NIL money and he's not getting the job done. You guys was favored to beat New Mexico and you guys got your ass whooped. And you cost this guy's job, man. So Deshaun Foster, one of my departures. My other departure for this week is the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting off 1-2, can they bounce back? I mean, it's gonna be crazy to see how they finish this season, and can they make it to the playoffs? Because right now, statistically, so they may not make it. So that's my other departure. So I'm gonna give Greg another couple minutes before, but if he don't get on, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show tonight. Greg, glad you came on, man. Give us your arrivals and departures, my brother.
okay, man. My rivals, man. I guess I'm gonna go with the obvious, man. Terence Crawford on the first person in history become undisputed in different weight classes. By pulling off, um, pulling off the win against Canelo Álvarez, who many thought that he probably was going to lose that fight. Because this was never seen before. Somebody coming from all the way from 150, 135, all the way up to super middleweight. And I would say my departure is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. That was
Man, you give it to the
unacceptable. It's
home
one
team,
thing
dog.
to I got to, man. I got to go with Brian Thomas Jr. because we have seen him play. We have seen him play at an elite level. To make this type of you know what I'm saying, to have the type of game he had last week with the lack of effort is unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? At least give us effort. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna have bad games. It's understandable. This is nothing like what we saw out of CD Lamb. CD Lamb had 3 drops right in the game, but his effort was there. To see the lack of effort that Brian Thomas Jr. was unacceptable, so he's going to get my departure for this week.
Hey man, I respect it, man. And on that note, it's your boy Joe.
It's your boy Greg.
And man, we want to thank everybody for tuning into the show tonight, man. I'm gonna have this. If you didn't catch the full episode, it will be probably sometime later this week on all streaming platforms. But if you want to check out the full episode, you can check it out on Greg's YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and also, man, subscribe to Greg's TikTok, my TikTok, Facebook, Instagrams. We on all social media platforms, man. All we do is talk sports because we love sports because sports is life does. And on that note, it's your boy Joe,
It's your boy Greg.
and we out. Peace.
Yo.